Most of the yachts that I film on this channel are actually models that I know quite well, but today I'm looking at a yacht for the very first time, built by the well-established Italian builder AB Yachts, and now available for sale on the market. We've taken her out to sea to take a proper look in her natural habitat. Of course, you're very welcome to join me as we reveal Reveil, and I think you'll be surprised at some of the things that we're going to discover. Reveil is a 92-foot AB yacht built in 2009 with three 1,800 horsepower Caterpillar engines and capable of speeds well in excess of the speed of our drone. 50 knots, in fact. We'll be looking at some of the technical details a little later, but first, let me show you around the inside. Reveil was clearly built for speed, but she was also built for comfort. Lovely soft furnishings and bamboo cabinetry greeted us in the lounge. A comfortable ambience that I understood more fully as the day progressed. I'll tell you more about that in a moment too. Well, you can see that the lounge is well equipped. Comfortable sofa to starboard and a second one further forward to port. This time with sensibly proportioned table and a couple of freestanding seats. If you do decide to watch the television, you can see it perfectly well from any of these positions. Forward of the lounge, of course, is the helm station, and to the starboard side, a stairwell leads to the cabins. I have to say that in a yacht of this size, keeping it simple is always the best strategy, and AB have done a wonderful job of maximising a simple layout of a VIP stateroom forward, a twin cabin with Pullman bunks to starboard, another twin cabin with Pullman bunk to port, and finally, just take a look at this full beam master stateroom. It's just glorious. Glorious and very practical too, with plenty of storage space and a very ample bathroom. Moving back through the lounge aft, we find another stairwell, this time leading to the yacht's galley, and doors leading off to the crew quarters and to the engine room, housing those three Caterpillar engines and the MGP jet drives. Now these are jet drives that are used by the world's navies. These of course are all controlled from their helm station, which has been designed to give the captain the greatest possible visibility and again, a simple, functional layout. As we move across the dashboard, we see a night vision camera, a GPS screen, a touch screen for all of the engine parameters, and the final screen is a second engine parameter screen as a backup. At the moment it's set up to show the CCTV system on board. And notice this joystick control too, allowing the yacht to achieve amazing manoeuvrability. The exterior of the yacht is also well thought out, with three distinct living spaces available for guests' use. The aft deck, that I would imagine is a favoured place for dining. There's also an engine control station here, including that joystick control that I mentioned earlier. And then from here, steps lead up to a wonderful sun deck that offers seclusion and tranquility. And then finally, at the bow, again, another magnificent sunbathing space. And from the bow to the stern, where we find a surprisingly large tender garage, big enough for a 3.8 metre tender and a jet ski, or 2 jet skis and a smaller inflatable tender.
Well, I had the pleasure of filming this video with the owner on board. I do love it when that happens because it gives me the opportunity to ask them why they chose this boat over any other particular boat. And the answer was really interesting, as she enthused about the performance of this yacht. It reminded me a little bit of talking to friends of mine who have high performance motorcycles, and they enthuse about the performance not just because of the speed, but it's the technology behind making that speed possible. She explained to me that the stringers in the hull, now the stringers are like the skeleton of the yacht, are made from Kevlar, carbon fibre, composite. That's the stuff that bulletproof vests are made of. The rest of the hull and the superstructure is a sandwich formation. The bathrooms are carbon fibre. All of that to contribute towards a lightweight but very strong yacht. And I want to just focus for a moment on the very strong part of that, because years ago I visited a yacht of a similar size to this, built by a different builder, that was really built with a standard engine configuration to do speeds of up to, say, 30 knots. Well, the builder decided to put a similar engine configuration with jets to what this yacht has, and sure enough, it did speeds of over 40 knots. But the interiors were shaken to pieces. Literally, bulkheads were coming away from the hull. That's certainly not the case with this yacht. This yacht was built for speed. There's nothing falling apart here. It is a wonderful example of great engineering.
Now, a strong, light construction does not just result in speed. A very welcome byproduct is low consumption. Now, here are a few figures for you straight from the captain's mouth. When those 3 Caterpillar engines are running at 60% of their power, the yacht will cruise at between 25 and 30 knots, depending on how much load is on board and the sea state, and the 3 engines between them will consume about 600 litres an hour. Move the engines up to 80% of their revs and you'll already reach 40 knots of speed and consume about 850 litres an hour. Now at this point, I'd remind you of a comment that I've made in other videos. If a yacht like Reveil consumes 3 times as much as a displacement yacht, but is going 3 times as fast, the fuel consumption to range is actually exactly the same. The difference is that a displacement yacht will have a bigger fuel tank so it can go farther, but Reveil will get you where you're going a hell of a lot quicker, and I have to say is a hell of a lot more fun to be on along the journey. I should also mention that whilst the official top speed of this yacht is 50 knots, the owner was delighted to tell me that she once reached an incredible 54 knots with this yacht, albeit under exceptional circumstances.
And actually the owner's love of this yacht was very clear and makes me believe that this will be a wonderful yacht for the right person to buy. She was actually telling me that they even choose the bottom paint very carefully so that it's a high performance paint for the high performance of the yacht. And it's that kind of attention to detail and passion that has made filming today such a pleasure and such an education. I said at the beginning of this video that this is a completely new model for me. I certainly know a lot more about it now than I did a few hours ago. But if you are a qualified buyer and you want the answers to your questions in order to make a decision as to whether to come for yourself and take a look at Reveil, you can do no better than contacting my colleague Sebastian Clavet. Now Sebastian knows more about this kind of yacht than any other broker that I have ever met. He can get you the answers to the questions that you want to ask. Not only that, he knows the sales process so well, having sold countless numbers of this kind of yacht. His email address is on screen now.